Hey guys, good morning. I'm not a morning person at all. This is currently past 4 a.m. My flight out of Japan today is a Sunday. Sorry, my flight out of Nigeria. See, I'm not a morning person at all. My flight out of Nigeria is for 8:25 a.m. Today is a Sunday, and see, it's just dawning on me that goodbyes are not the easiest. I think I've forgotten how to do vlogs because it's been a while I picked up my camera. I think by this time, as I'm making this video by now, I have officially taken a mini break. I made a post on my community tab telling you guys that I've been juggling a lot and I'll come back with the gist, blah blah blah. Yeah, this is the gist. So I'm actually tired, and luckily for me, my husband is a morning person, and so he has been the one gingering me to wake up and all. So I have something to rush back to. The truth is, Tabby, if you're an OG, you know Tabby. Tabby has graduated and she's leaving Japan finally, and so I really want to go back and at least see her. So I really want to go back and meet her. I have just few days to her finally leaving. So my flight is for Sunday and my husband's flight is for Tuesday. So I'm going to try and show you guys our luggages a lot, and we are currently lodged close to the airport, like in a hotel close to the airport, just so I don't miss my flight. I'm just grateful to God for a successful wedding, successful like for Johnny Messis. You cannot even fathom the amount of trips, flights, road trip that has gone into planning this wedding, from the trad to the white to the court wedding to coming to our honeymoon and everything. We did one honeymoon here in Nigeria. So yeah, welcome to my going back vlog, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope I remember to vlog as much because I'm getting back into the system again. And see you in the vlog, and see you in Japan, and hopefully maybe in the video, if the video is not too long, I can tell you guys about the new re-entry procedure if you're coming into Japan. Guys, these are the suitcases. It's quite a lot. Let's go back. My waist back, my thigh. But for me, I'll be going with this. This is a big box, and then this is a medium. This one has my foodstuffs. This one is only foodstuffs, I kid you not. All this one is my clothes. My husband will be going with this. This is biggest size, and then this is small. So then this is his own school bag, but this is my own school bag. Yeah, let's hit the road, guys.
Sabi gon' know the two like talk. Animals, they're in human form. Body man, nobody like work. But you must hustle if you want job. Ain't no finish, they won't fight us. If them they run, they for me catch up. I know they form I set you righteous. Come on, they form you set you like us. We no get the time for the hate and the bad energy. Got my mind on my money. Make you dance like broccoli. Steady green like broccoli. Steady on my ground, let me hear what you want. Tell me if it ain't my fantasy. They wanna check my top in a rush. But it a rush, well, they be much. No be happy, everybody they crush. The kind money we touch. Yeah, it a rush, well, they be much. No be bad, everybody they crush. There's no darling with us. Yeah, there's no darling. You funny job patta, I dey go Ghana. You never touch with the phone, papas. Which kind of money you never seen before? Cause you know me, got me feeling I'm the one. RJ, you can never take my cake away. RJ, you can't count my grace. I just stay my lane. Me not got the time for the hate and the bad energy. Got my mind on my money. Make you dance like broccoli. Steady green like broccoli. Steady on my ground, let me hear what you want. Tell me if it ain't my fantasy. They wanna check my top in a rush. But it a rush, well, they be much. No be happy, everybody they crush. The kind money we touch. Yeah, it a rush, well, they be much. money you never seen before. Cause you love me, got me feeling I'm the one. IJ, you can never take my cake away. IJ, you can't count my grace. I just stay in my lane, my lane.
So hey guys, and welcome back to the channel once again. As you can see guys, I'm back to Japan finally. It was such a long trip. I think the vlog part of this video will do justice to what I'm trying to say. It was a long, tiring trip. I finally landed in Tokyo, and trust me, you don't want to know what has gone down between Tokyo and finding my way back to my city. But long story short, your girl is back home. Like, I'm actually in my house, and I decided to come in here and wrap up this vlog by giving you information. I did something similar like this last year when I traveled. I ended the vlog by telling you what you need to know if you're planning to travel out of Japan, because of the whole pandemic thing. And then I also told you about coming in to Japan. So that's just what I want to do, just in case anybody's watching me and is also planning to travel and is scared about how the borders is. So let me try my best to explain. See, I will normally do this when I'm well rested, like I've had my bath, slept, woken up, because it's always a very long trip. But I decided to come in here and do it immediately because I don't want to forget any details. There are really tiny details that I can easily forget. As I'm talking in this video, I'll try to put screenshots as much as I can, just so you have pictorial representation of what I'm trying to say. Also, let me just put a little disclaimer. This video is not, I'm not an immigration expert. I'm not working for Japan embassy or anything. I'm just sharing from my own personal experience. It might differ from another person. Also, I don't know, these policies, they keep changing over and over again. If you watched my last year's video and you watch this one, you see that there will be a lot of difference. So I don't know the time you'll be watching this video. Probably policies may have changed, but this is as of when I, Chilo, entered into Japan. So let's get right into this information part. So when I left Japan, leaving Japan to Nigeria, the requirement, when I went through, there were a lot of confusing things. Plus, policies were just changing around that time. So everybody had different things to say about, traveling out. But when I went through, because I flew with Qatar just like last year. So Qatar will usually tell you the requirements of the country you are going to. And being that I was going to Nigeria, when I went through their website, now there was a paragraph that said I needed vaccination certificate or a COVID test that was at least 48 hours valid. Now, I saw that part. That's either, or means either of this or this, right? All right, now. I saw another paragraph that said I needed both of them. I saw another paragraph that said something in the line. There were just a lot of things. And when I asked people who seemingly just traveled as of maybe 2 months back, they said they had to show their COVID test results. So I was skeptical because doing a COVID test result is not exactly cheap. But at the same time, you don't want to get to the borders or get to the airport and then hear that you don't have the complete requirement. That flight money has gone, and if you know what is happening now, you know that flight is quite on the high side. So what we decided was, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do both of them, which is COVID test and the vaccination certificate. Now I'm fully vaccinated, even down to the 3rd shot, which is the booster shot. So I just had to apply for the vaccination certificate in my city ward, and then it came out, I think it came out in how many days or so. And then they also gave me how to download the online version. Then I did my PCR test. I did it like today, and I was supposed to fly like tomorrow. Yes, so it's supposed to be 48 hours. And then I got the result that night, luckily, so I could use it to fly. Now on getting to the borders, like on getting to Qatar, on getting to Tokyo, Narita, Tokyo, whatever, I reached there and they only asked for either
I showed my vaccination certificate, and so they had nothing to do with the COVID test. I was paid, because I'm just like, the time, if you watch the vlog of me going back to Nigeria, you would realize how stressed I was to do, as in how doing that COVID test got me really stressed. So in my head, I'm like, wait, this thing just was. I remember asking the one of those Qatar officials that, are you saying you don't need to check my COVID test? I mean, someone should just check it. And she was like, no, my vaccine certificate. So I did not show it. Now, rewind a bit. Now, last year I said that if you want to enter Nigeria, you have to go to, is it NDIC, National Disease Infections, and this thing. I'll put it on the screen. So last year you have to generate a QR code, and to generate that QR code, you should pay like 50,000 naira, because that 50,000 naira is for you to do a repeat test after 7 days, right? Okay. But as of this year, you still need the QR code. The only difference is, I think, if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to pay any 50,000 naira. You don't have to do any repeat test. You just land, and that's all. So I did that. We did that. Went to NDIC or so, uploaded the vaccination certificate, or was it the COVID test? But I know I didn't pay anything. The QR code generated. So that's also another thing that Qatar will ask you for when you reach, as in the flight. So that makes it two things that you'll be asked, or I was asked at the borders, like by the airline, which is my vaccination certificate or COVID test, and the QR code generated NDIC from Nigeria. So I flew with that. Now, upon landing Nigeria, it's almost the same thing that I was asked at the borders. The QR code, they will use that QR code scan reader, and scan just to be sure that I did not go and fake it. To be sure that it's the legit one. And then my vaccination certificate that I showed again, I think it's faint in my head now, but that's what I needed. I didn't do any repeat test. I didn't pay any money to enter again, unlike last year, and that was all. So now, about coming back. Now, coming back, I had already made up my mind that yes, even though, like returning back to Japan, I had made up my mind that even though they didn't ask me for COVID test, I don't want to take chances. I have so much that is waiting for me to do in the lab, and I'm just like, I'm not about to go and hear that my flight, I can't fly or anything. So I kept insisting that I'm going to take the COVID test, even though I'm fully vaccinated. But my husband just kept saying that no, that I don't need that. We don't need to do a COVID test result. He tried all the things he could try, showed me online. This one, that you just need an app. This one, CFAM. As I had 1 week to my traveling, to my flight, I was still telling him, babe, see, are you sure of this thing? We can just go and do a COVID test. And then he just kept saying, no, we don't need to, blah, blah, blah. And all. So I was actually scared. So what he told me you just needed is my SOS app. I talked about this app last year. Now, he said you have to download the app and then upload all the certificates, to answer some questions, requirement, blah, blah. That was all you needed to show. I thought it was a lie. But it was actually true. So let me now really talk about what I know, because I wasn't really the one that downloaded it. So you need my SOS app. You download the app. And then there are some questions that you need to answer, and even your flight ticket, you have to also upload your flight ticket, your seat number. There's a lot of questions. So according to what I was told, or what he told me, the earlier your flight, or the nearer your flight, the faster, as in priority, they will give to you in reviewing your document, because it takes, as in they review the document to be sure, just to validate it. I uploaded quite a number of documents, but I know amongst them my vaccination certificate, I think flights, you need your seat number, you need address, you need your international passport and all. So when they are processing it, the color of the screen will be showing red, and on the top of the screen they will write red also. But when it's fully process. I'm Nigerian. I came in from Nigeria, and that's the only country I have visited in 1 month, and I don't think Nigeria is a red zone. So the screen is supposed to be showing a blue screen after review. Now, because I did this the week of my coming back, so my documents were reviewed with priority, because okay, this person's flight is closed, and then in less than 48 hours or 24 hours my screen turned blue. I'll put screenshots on the screen as much as I can. You will see places where they say review completed, documents uploaded, and all those things. So my screen showed blue, and at the top of that screen showing blue, they will tell you something like you just have to show this blue screen to board planes at the borders and everything. So on the day of flying, I got to the airport, and apparently this is actually a new policy from what he researched online. It started September, middle September. It's very new. The policy is actually very new. So at the borders in Nigeria, not all of them are really up to date with this. So they asked me for my COVID test, and I'm like, no, I didn't do COVID test. I'm vaccinated. I show certificate. And the man was like, okay, there is some QR code I need to show. And truth be told, when your screen turns blue, actually there is a QR code that is generated from Japan. That QR code is what he was asking for. I showed them the QR code, and that was it. So they allowed me to board the plane. Now, when you board the plane, so what I'm saying is, at the borders from Nigeria, the only thing Qatar asked me for was the MySOS blue screen, the QR code that was generated, and my vaccination certificate. Okay. Now, upon landing, last year it was a long protocol. You did rapid COVID test, blah blah blah. This year was very different. Now, upon landing from the place that we were all just coming down, queuing, tired, they started asking for the MySOS blue screen. I was so happy. Like, in my head, I'm like, what if I only did this COVID test and I did not download? Because that was what I was planning to do. I did not believe the whole MySOS thing. That means you would be on the line there. Like, it will take you a while. You have to now use the maybe airport Wi-Fi to download the app and upload all those documents, and that will be a long process. So we that had the blue screen, they called us fast track, because you're just moving. So from there, they started saying, please keep the app running. Please keep the app running. They were holding things up. Keep the app running. Show your blue screen. So I just kept showing the blue screen, moving. But you get to a point where they will tell you to click. There's something on the blue screen that when you've registered all your documents, tell you to click it. And when you click it, it's going to show them the QR code. So it's the QR code they were looking out for at some point. I passed through that, and then I got to a point. So based on if you have these requirements or not, they keep splitting people. Those that don't have will go this line, goes, so the line I was on, I got to a point where they say, oh, blue screen, go. I went there. The man asked me for my vaccination certificate. I showed it to him, and then he was like, okay, I don't need to quarantine. So he just gave me some sort of, there's this quarantine blue something. It's a paper, or like it's a slip. He was like, I should show the immigration people. So when I saw the quarantine, I'm like, but you said I don't need to quarantine. He was like, just show the immigration people. It means you don't have to quarantine. I was like, oh. So I took the blue slip, and then with the screen still running, I showed them, and they allowed me to pass. Now at this point again, there is a split, right? The split is I think new visa holders or visitors, and then re-entry permit. So because I'm an existing visa holder, like I've lived in Japan, I have a valid visa, I was directed to the re-entry part. So I went to the re-entry part. I think I still showed the whole blue screen and no quarantine stuff. And then I got there, and they just scanned my passport, looked at all the documents over again, asked me to turn print, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Finish from them, and then they asked me to proceed to immigration, where a police dog will smell your luggage to know if you came in with any contraband, and so on and so forth. So my luggage actually kept me a bit. My foodstuff bag, the dog was smelling it up and down, sniffing it up and down, so they had to carry me aside. I wasn't surprised. Japan has meat contraband. You don't bring in fresh meat. So yeah, that's actually all. I can remember. Hopefully I covered everything. For now, the borders are quiet, as in are relaxing quite well. People are really entering. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you find this video helpful, both the vlog part and the information segment. I hope if you're planning to travel outside Japan, or you're planning to re-enter this period, hopefully this helps you not to be doubting like me. Download the MySOS app, and please try to always check the internet for updated policies, because truth be told, I was also just working on autopilot from last year doing COVID test vaccination certificate. That's all, not knowing that policies are really changing and a lot of things has been added. So please always check. Even if you're watching this video, let it not be the only information you have. Check the internet, surf the internet. What does Japan expect from you? What does Nigeria expect from you? What does the airline expect? Bye for now, guys. See you next time on Chilotalks. Bye for now, guys.